typically we film our client stories in person. Tell me a little bit about why we're doing this differently.
We are doing this differently because I've been on tour and I am not in Nashville right now. And y'all so graciously bent with my schedule. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm excited about today. It's going to be so
Mm.
good.
So tell me why you decided to share your story. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. I think because one of the main reasons is because I'm on the other side. In 2020, I remember that was when kind of the downward spiral hit. I was on tour. I loved touring. I loved being on stage. Um, it was really more for seeing people every night. There was something about the exchange of joy and like watching it land on people's faces. And that was so palatable to me. And then once COVID hit and all the changes that our society endured, I found myself the rug completely ripped out from underneath my feet, and I was just free falling backwards for what seemed like 2 or 3 years. And that process of feeling like I couldn't ever maintain, um, like there was nothing I could grab a hold of. It was just a constant free fall. That process for me is what felt like I've got to figure something out here. I felt like my mind is slipping from me. Like my thoughts are not my own. I don't think this way, and I am thinking this way. Um, I remember feeling like every time something uncertain would come up, I would find myself riddled with fear, riddled with panic, riddled with anxiety. I found myself fighting through anger and rage in ways that I had never known before. And so seeing these changes and wondering, why is my mind not working the way that it used to? What is going on? So all of that was happening, loss of dream, loss of human connection, loss of life as we knew it, political unrest, public scrutiny, and then my grandfather gets really, really sick. Yeah, you're under the weight of all of it. So you're like constantly trying to wipe your eyes like windshield wipers, getting the mud off so you can see clearly. And all it's doing is just smearing everything and making a big mess. So you can't see clearly. But when you have people on the outside that can look into your circumstance and say, try this thing. What if we use this? How about this tool? Hey, I promise you, you will get through to the other side. When you have those people that can believe for you, when you can't believe for yourself. Once we got started, I remember, I think it was what, session like 2 or 3 where you said, Lauren, you're great, but you are still very guarded with me. Was that,
Mhm,
do you remember
mhm.
that?
I do. I do.
Were you like, if you
And
want
that's
me to help
fair.
you, if you want me to help you, you're gonna have to actually be honest with yourself. And so that
Come in, take the masks off.
yes,
Like, I don't need Lauren Daigle, the
yes,
performer. I don't need the artist. I
yes.
just need you.
Hmm. And going through that process was even revealing in of itself because I hadn't known how much I'd lost myself.
Yeah, and that was a really fun part of the work was talking about here's how God has gifted me, here's how God has made me. This is what the world wants me to be. This is how I'm
Yes.
supposed to perform, how often I have to be on, how often I should post. Is it possible to retain who I am and still make it in this business?
Mhm.
And you have found your own way and your own path. The answer is yes. And you're helping other people answer that question too. You wrote this
Mhm.
song, Valuable, and you've talked a little bit about that coming through an EMDR setup that we were working on. Tell me why I mean, I understand why you would want to write it. That's cathartic for you, but why did you decide to share that song with other people?
So this song came from the session where you were asking me what is life's greatest question that you're trying to constantly answer with your
That's right.
actions.
That's right.
And
Mhm.
that question was like, what? I've never even thought to view life that way. Like, what are my actions answering that I'm trying to, resolve? And we kept going through a series of questions, and we got to the point of, am I valuable? does this make me more valuable or does this make me more valuable? Does answering life this way make me more valuable or does this? Is
Yep.
being a school teacher versus being a singer, like all of that process. And I remember I left that session. I had a co-write right after, and she came and flipped the entire back of the chorus to something that was even more profound. So I had written, if you feel like you are not valuable, let me tell you there's more. If your heart is running in circles, telling your head things that are not true. And I stopped and had a different ending. She said, what would God say to you? What would God say to you? You, every tear he catches with his hand, and he knows the way your heart breaks within. You're valuable. And I remember sitting there thinking, what just happened? It was like the time of purpose intersecting with creativity or the message, you know? It was really, I was like, wow, this song is doing something to me. And I remember feeling the weight of it and loving the melody and loving the lyric. If you ever want to write a good song, go to therapy. I just
Here's why I love it though, Lauren, because you had to answer that question for yourself first. If you had just written the song, wrote a hit, good message, that is very different than the extremely genuine process and hard work of saying, I'm going to answer that for me first, then I can tell the world.
Yes. Oh yeah. The thing that isn't going to sound colorful and beautiful, it's accountability. The thing that we're like
Okay.
sometimes cringe, you're like, I don't want it. But it is. There's something about knowing that someone will see through anything I try to deliver. Like the accountability of knowing someone wants something greater for you.
Yes.
Maybe even in the moment that you want for yourself. Okay, what does that look like? How do I dive into that? What does that feel like? Something about the accountability of it just really propels me to want greater things for myself. Counseling reveals all the ways that you've allowed false accusation or um, misunderstanding of responsibility or you name it. It shows how you bring all of those things relationship with God. It shows, wait, so that was people's expectations of me, not God's expectations of me. You know,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you start to re-understand, oh, who is God? When I started at Refuge, it was riddled with panic, fear, anxiety, all the things that we talked about. But now I wake up every day, depression has lifted. There is no wondering why I'm awake. How do I push through this day? The fatigue of depression, all of that has lifted. Um, Going about my day, knowing that there is a lightness, there is true joy. Like I wake up excited about what the day brings forth. My career, even with the pressures and all the things that come, I'm able to work myself through moments of anxiety versus becoming overwhelmed by moments of anxiety. I'm able to find peace even in the middle of what might feel like chaos or what might feel like out of my control. And those are the things that I feel like Amy helped put my feet on that path. She helped kind of say that, hey, Lauren, there's another way. There's another way. There's another way. I think for years the vessel got tarnished and tired. And
Tired.
this process cleansed the vessel again in a way that now I can feel rejuvenation in my walk with the Lord. I can feel rejuvenation in my connection to my career, and just being just being Lauren. I'm like, I love myself. I love the way that I'm able to interact with the world, and and I think the being on the other side of what was legitimate depression and a lot of panic, I now take flights and I'm fine on planes. But even if I do have a moment of fear or anxiety, I'm able to work through them. I'm not overcome by them. And that's the difference. So I just have to say all those things that if you're someone that's in the middle trying to learn, there is another side. You
Yeah.
will get through to the other side. And that's the beauty of counseling.